attributes for the dating apps, man.
No, reaction videos to how delusional the opposite gender is when it comes to dating. So
Oh, is that the like ones where it's like, I won't date a man unless he's 6 foot tall and makes $200,000 a year?
yeah,
It's like that represents exactly 0.0001% of the population. Oh,
it's what's interesting is like I binge listen to like that type of content, and then outside of the age bracket that they demand, which is like between like 21 and 35. I'm like, oh, I almost fit that, so I'm old. And like, and I'm like, man, I probably represent like 0.01% of African Americans that make up that criteria, except for my age. And I'm not a drug dealer. I'm not a entertainer, aka professional athlete. So, anyways,
hmm,
yet
there you go.
I still don't get any coochie. So, yeah, what the f, man?
What the F?
Going to the emergency room is expensive. Did you know that?
uh, yeah, I mean, if you don't have insurance, it is, yeah.
I had insurance, and I'm like, it's still expensive.
Yeah. I think,
Like, I'm like, I don't owe this. I have insurance, and I just paid the insurance company like 2 weeks ago, and then I went to look at the details for the invoice of the hospital. Sure enough, they had what the insurance covered, and I'm like, man, how do I don't understand how drug addicts and homeless people get through life. Like when ambulances come over and resuscitate them, like who pays for that?
that's what your tax dollars are at work for, man.
Well, why don't your tax dollars pay for my emergency a month ago? Why do I
Why
have to
don't
pay
they?
for it?
Yeah, because producers pay the taxes. I don't know what you say. I mean, it's the way the world works. You
I want
can't
other
tax
people
things
to,
that when people don't do any, like don't make anything.
but that's not fair. Other people should pay for my problems. I shouldn't pay for it. I mean,
Well, maybe
spoken
one
like a
day they
true
will.
Democrat, right?
Maybe one day they will. I mean,
Yeah, man. So I'm kind of, I mean, obviously I got to pay it, right? Because my name's attached to it. I don't want it affecting my credit. But I'm
yeah,
like, yo, I just paid a grip for this. I don't understand why I'm still like on the hook.
yeah. Is that just because you have a high deductible plan, like, or
My
is it
deductible, I think my deductible was like $500 that I paid them, and I'll go into details. So that visit was $3,500.
okay? Well, that's not
I
terrible.
I didn't get shot. Like,
Yeah. Well, that's because you probably have a. I mean, your insurance deductible might be like. I think I've got maybe like a. I don't know, like a 5 or 6 or 7 thousand dollar deductible. I don't know, which means you don't get any insurance until that point is reached, where you pass your deductible amount. And then there might be like copays or whatever
well,
after that,
the
even so
insurance
up
company
to a
was
set
like,
amount.
the insurance company billed me for like $500. No, 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 it wasn't 500. The insurance company billed me for like $1,100. So I thought that like they covered it, and this is me paying my deductible. But then I kept getting emails from the hospital, and so I looked at the details of the invoice, and like sure enough, like the my insurance was itemized in it, and I still owed a balance. I'm like, $3,500. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think insurance is probably like the biggest scam ever. It's dumb. I mean, so insurance, like honestly, I think for health, like people should have catastrophic health insurance, and that's it. Like this is gonna bankrupt you, health insurance. Everything else they should just pay out of pocket, and that would bring the costs way down.
Yeah, but how many people can pay $3,500 for a unforeseen, unplanned event that if they don't pay for it, it could be life threatening
Yeah, but that's the question is, why is it $3,500?
because that's how much it costs for people to go to school and train to treat you in addition to the materials
Does it?
that you received.
Does it, or is that because the way that the insurance system works that hospitals are required to put a huge markup so that they can negotiate down with insurance companies?
Well, I would argue that whenever the government is involved and the government is writing checks, it incentivizes their clients or their partners to raise their rate.
Yeah, it's
Why
not
not?
just insurance. It's not it's the insurance companies in this case. Insurance companies dictate basically like this is what will pay for things, so the healthcare kind of
No,
has to like.
I think the government is a factor. When the government is writing checks to these insurance companies or subsidizing these insurance companies, just like student loans, it's going to be more expensive because people are
Well,
maximizing profit because the
yeah, there's
government is writing
subsidies,
checks.
but it's also the fact that there's not skin in the game for that, and insurance companies kind of hold all the cards with healthcare companies, so they own the purse, right? They've got the money. So if you want the money, we're not going to pay it unless you give us a big discount, kind of a deal. So like my at my wife's work, she works at a dermatology clinic. Like it's $300 for a doctor's visit. Like if you're to pay out of pocket, I think is what it was, or like a check. But the insurance gets the same thing for like less than $100 or something. I can't remember. It's something insane like that. And the only difference is that they have to negotiate with the insurance companies, um, and so they do. But if everyone just negotiated on their own and didn't have health insurance, I think health insurance is just the biggest problem. I don't like. There's no reason that health should be that expensive for stuff, and it really should only be expensive for like major catastrophic stuff. The problem is insurance, 100%. It's a huge middleman that just takes a big chunk of money out of what people pay in and make profit off it. And all they're there for is to just fish money another way. Like it's really stupid.
I'm starting to think that and I hope this doesn't touch a nerve. I'm starting to think that fentanyl is a conspiracy to kill off drug addicts to reduce the burden of the state having to pay for them.
I wouldn't think that. I don't think that there's people in government are that smart. Not that that would be a smart thing to do. I'm just saying I don't think they could pull something like that off intentionally. Fentanyl might be a thing by China to disrupt the American like system. I mean, that could be a thing because like a whole country having putting something like that in motion is possible. Like a foreign power with great control over certain aspects of the world. So and fentanyl, most of it's made by China, so it a lot of it comes through there. Um,
Mm.
yeah, it's terrible what it's done to people. But our own
Well,
system allows for it too. I mean, fentanyl wouldn't be there unless there was a need for a really strong pain killing drug.
okay. Yeah, I didn't do anything with Beach Mobile.
Yeah, I feel like it's dead, man. You're not working on it. When you
It's
get back,
not.
it's gonna be old and decrepit. You're gonna have to rewrite it.
Oh,
And that,
I have to rewrite the front end just because Xamarin Forms has been deprecated.
oh yeah, is it all like Maui now or something like that? Or
And I know that it's high probability with how complicated um, Google Maps is that I'm not going to be able to get support to figure out how to deploy it,
Hmm.
and that I'm going to be forced to use .NET MAUI.
Or switch it up and go with like React Native or something,
No, I'm
or
not learning. I'm not
or
learning that.
or do like a progressive web app instead.
I'm not learning that. I'm done learning. Oh, that's not true. Someone solicited me, asked me if I wanted to team up with them and go through an Azure certification, and I would consider it. I'm just not interested in like some of the prerequisites. Like I have no desire to learn to build my knowledge and test on like virtual machines. I have none. Like I only want to study and practice on what I'm actually interested in, which is DevOps and
Well, that is DevOps stuff.
VM.
Well, that's ops. VMs are one of the things that ops needs to know about.
Mm, I thought it was this is separate from like containers or serverless, right?
Well,
I
what do you
thought
think
that
that those things run on? I mean, well,
yeah,
serverless
but it's
is,
abstracted away. So why do I need
yeah.
to have the implementation
I,
details of something that is abstracted away based on the technology that I choose?
yeah, I think it is if you stay within certain parameters, but if you're going to like going into a company, having virtual machines to run certain things is a real possibility with any company that's older than, 5 years old or something like that. You've probably got many virtual machines sitting out there doing certain things for a while, but
Then what's the return on investment? Like, is that going to graduate me to like $150 an hour
probably
with
not.
a Azure cert,
Probably not.
or does it just help me compete against ageism?
No.
All right,
What you
then.
should do is found a wildly successful open source project, and then you'd be
Nikesa
worth a lot.
resurrected.
But yeah, I don't know. Um,
Mm, my motorcycle's in the shop. I got stranded on a Sunday fun day ride out. So I think I'm starting to go into a depression because I can't ride my motorcycle. I got my three wheeler, but that's not fun to ride. That's just a cruise machine. It's a Ducati that's like, yeah, I like pulling up.
isn't that a new Ducati? Like, what could go wrong with it so soon?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the second time it's been in the shop.
Mm. It just is something with those.
Those Italians, man, they don't they don't engineer for reliability.
Yeah, they
There's so much
engineer
they
for
could learn
speed,
from
and
Japanese people.
well, why don't you go out and get a Suzuki?
Still think Japanese people descended from aliens. Well, all Asians except for Filipinos and
Why?
Thai.
Oh man.
What were you
Well,
saying before?
what?
You were asking something. Oh, why don't I get a Kawasaki?
Yeah, Suzuki. Well, yeah. What's the
Because I
what?
can't fit. I'm too
Oh, those
tall.
are, yeah. I don't know. You can't fit on them.
I,
They don't
I
make
got
them
a I got a
large size.
multi-strada Pikes Peak, and so I could fit on that. But there's very few bikes I can fit on.
Hmm. You should go find a big old Honda Goldwing.
No, thank you.
Cruise around in that.
And I started working out again. I started Monday, and I'm sore as crap. So
Yeah, that'll happen if you hey, go for a while.
it was a month, and I got weak. I had graduated to doing 4 sets of 18 push-ups, and then on Monday or Tuesday, it was like first set 18, second set like 15, third set 10, fourth set 6. I got so weak, man. So
Yeah. Well, when hit what, mid 30s is when it starts to decline. Start you start going down, down, down.
it was going up until I got sick.
Well, yeah, if you actively work at it, but you can't just like take time off and have it keep going. Your body's like, nope, too old for this shit.
The goal is to get to 4 sets of 20, and then if I hit that, maybe I'll finally reward myself and buy my luxury watch as a memento. Am I using that word correctly?
Yeah, why don't you fly
Or
over
as
to
a trophy?
Switzerland and then buy like a nice Swiss watch? Then you can
Um,
meet up with Gambler.
That's
He's
the
not on,
option.
I don't think, but you get kill two birds with one stone.
It's between a Omega and a Grand Seiko. Those are the two watches that I'm considering.
Omego,
Omega, O M
Omega,
E
Omega.
G,
Is it a Omega? Yeah,
Omega,
this is pronounced Omega, even though it's spelled Omega, and there are signs in Omega.
Omega.
Oh yeah, those are spendy watches.
No, those are the cheap ones.
Oh,
Look,
Seiko.
look up Sedna Gold, or look up
Seikos are cheap.
Speedmaster Sedna Gold, SEDNA Gold, Speedmaster.
Speedmaster. Oh, the Omega Speedmaster. It's like a $1,200 watch or something.
No, they're not looking at it.
Wait,
Omega Speedmaster Sedna Gold,
Sedna Gold. I thought I
S
heard
E D
Sedna Gold.
N N A.
Sedna Gold.
Uh,
Oh, they're $20,000 to $30,000 watches.
yeah, that's the one that I'm considering. And of
That's
course,
a
that would
lot
be
for a
a
watch. Oh, $40,000. Jeez.
well at that price point. It's not just a watch; it's an heirloom to be handed down,
Master chronometer
and it's a down
certificate.
payment for my kids' college in 15, 16 years,
Oh, there you go.
and it's highly likely to appreciate in value, slightly behind the S&P. So,
Yeah, yeah, I suppose that's what they do. They're valuable materials.
and watches they they tend to be one of very few products that don't have or that don't succumb to planned obsolescence.
Hmm.
They're meant to last generations, if not a lifetime.
Well, like
Like,
high quality ones are, I suppose.
yeah,
Like these Swiss watches.
there's a lot of engineering that goes into them. Like,
Hmm.
so with the Grand Seiko, they have a spring drive, and basically the watch gets wound up, and then like how does it work? They have a magnet on there. Still no battery, but they have a magnet on there. And so the gears basically with kinetic energy create a I can't even explain it, but they're still pure mechanical watches, the Grand Seikos, but they have a magnet, and then with that it's able to deliver electricity to make it have a smooth sweeping second hand instead of a tick 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 tick. It appears more like continuous. So,
That's really cool.
uh, I'm an engineer, so like I still like geeking out on things that most people don't care about.
I hate to wear one though, because then I'd be afraid I'd scratch it and scuff it and break it
I'm more concerned about getting robbed
or robbed.
and
Yeah,
and having to think, all right, can I take this guy? Can I take this shank? Can I take this 32 revolver? Like, I'll start. being an engineer and like as I'm getting robbed, I'm thinking about like I'm analyzing for the next 15 seconds. Do I want to be robbed or not, or do I want to take the risk and like fight for it at the expense of being a paraplegic or being killed? But then you have to take into consideration that it's probably a high likelihood that you do get shot. So then you still have to deal with uh, a medical bill of probably at least $10,000, if not higher, depending on how long you're going to be in a hospital. Is it going to be a flesh wound, or is it like I'll just start analyzing all that before I decide to like go for the gun.
Yeah. I wonder what it costs to get something like that insured, because you can insure. I think you can insure those kinds of things for
Yeah,
against theft.
I think you can too.
So it would probably be, well, you can with like with wedding rings and stuff, I believe. So it makes sense that you could insure a watch. I don't know if that would then basically chew up the valuation over time.
Do do women get strong armed and like for wedding rings, like
I
their
think.
diamonds?
I think
Is that a
so.
thing?
I mean, if you're gonna rob someone, give
Yeah,
me all
but
your valuables. Give me your rings.
I don't. I would think that. Okay, so I would think that the
There's a
average.
gentleman robber. Oh, you keep your ring. I'm okay with getting the $2 in your pocket.
I mean, I would think that there's so many people that are, or so many women that are married that it's like you just. It would be relatively easy. Of course, I mean you can't slide the ring off their finger. You would have to have some wire cutters, right, to snip off
Yeah,
their finger,
for a lot of them.
snip off their ring finger, and then you get the ring off.
Wonder
Maybe
how
that's
often that's
maybe that's
happened.
why they don't do it.
Yeah, maybe it's just like, people's fingers get so chubby after they get married that the rings don't come off. I mean, mine did. Mine does. My wife's does or did.
Oh, you know that from experience, huh?
Yeah, I got to slide it off. No, I usually only take it off to like when I went up to the Boundary Waters on my trip. I'd take it off and give it to my wife beforehand because I'd be out swimming in the lake or something. I don't want it to randomly fall off. Not that it does, but I mean, I'd probably be fine. But I don't know. So
You have anything exciting planned?
not yet. I might go to this like comic book convention next weekend. Um,
Where
I don't
at?
know. It's kind of come up. It's in the Twin Cities. It's come up kind of quick, and like I plan to usually go with my brother-in-laws to something like this, and I think we're going, but one of them kind of is a little flaky on it, and the other one I haven't really talked to. So I'll have to see if we're gonna do it or not. Um, Other than that, I mean, starting to plan the trips that I normally take, like the ice fish in the Lake of the Woods, um, that kind of stuff. But I don't know.
You're very outdoors.
That not really. Very
Well,
little actually.
anytime that you say, "Hey, can we do a Thursday or can we cancel?" It's always you going camping, going hiking, or going whitewater rafting.
Well, I haven't been whitewater rafting in years, um, but
Okay.
camping, yeah. But camping is like when I'm going camping, it's normally like you pull a trailer somewhere and then you like sit out by a fire and drink and then you go back and sleep in the trailer. Like that. Maybe you take a walk around the campground or whatever, see the features of the campground.
I mean, it's like like if my wife decided that she was going to serve me papers for a divorce, I'm like, all right, babe. Hey, let's go whitewater rafting, and then like that. Yep.
No, there's a lot of, I don't know. We had so the last time I went water rafting was in Maine. Um, this is, I don't know, maybe it was like 10 years ago now or something like that. Which I loved whitewater rafting. It's so much fun. But basically our raft, we come up to the thing and it goes like down into this thing and hits this like really big rapid and it tips like this. and um, I don't know how my wife stayed in, but two people fall out into the water, and the perfect person who's taking photographs of it literally just has their feet out of the water like this. Like here's the water line, and here's their feet like going in, like
Oh
straight
wow.
up into it. Um, so they like, and then it was like after that, it was like a movie. Everyone's trying to like save these people that fell in the water, and it was eventually they got them or whatever. But my wife, I don't know how she got wedged in there perfectly where she didn't fall out, but she was pretty damn close.
How many people does it seat?
It depends on the raft size. I think there were six, well, seven people probably in the raft that time that we were in. So the plus, I mean, six of us plus the person like steering it. So, but you never done it? Like it's a like go do it sometime. It's pretty fun. You get in this like suit and then you like go out in there and you paddle up against these things and it's just like, whoa,
You haven't noticed
it's
in
quite a
talking to
rush.
me that like there's some cultural differences in regards to how we entertain each other.
I think you'd like it.
Like black people don't do extreme sports.
Well,
We don't. Unless you want to say motorcycling. But besides
well,
that,
yeah.
like you
There you
don't
go.
in general,
Well, break the yeah, but you're the 1%, man.
I jumped out of a plane, I hated it. Never do it again. I did not
Well,
like it.
whitewater rafting is most of it is actually just relaxing because there's like a few moments of rush where you're hitting the rapids and stuff, and then after that, it's like you might have a lazy river moment. Like actually, this one we went to is pretty cool. At one point, it's like, "Yep, you can jump out now if you want." And so everyone just jumps out into the river, and you can actually. They're like, if you want to see what it's like to experience the rapids at like a level 2 in the water, jump out now, and then just go over there and then just like lean back and whatever, and you go through the river and you're like, whoa, going up and down rapids. It's pretty
No,
neat.
no, I seriously believe that there is something genetic about Caucasians in which they like risking their lives for entertainment. So like I've been binge watching I've been binge watching like a lot of like tigers, hyenas, and hippo videos. And these people like will canoe in a crocodile infested river. And if they live and they survive the canoe trip, it's like a badge of honor to them. And it's like I just find it interesting. I don't see any other ethnicity like canoeing with a whole bunch of hippos. Like
Yeah,
I don't see
I,
Asian
I
people
wouldn't
doing
do
it.
that though.
I don't see the natives doing it. But like, I mean, this is why y'all run the world, man. Because y'all like, if y'all survive, then y'all have way more information, know-how, and expertise in things that most people aren't willing to try to figure out.
No, I mean that's one interpretation.
You guys climb mountains.
The other interpretation is that we have so much time on our hands and such vanilla lives that we have to invent adversity
Uh,
to make
it-
life interesting.
as in, like, in general or in theory, you have the luxury of having time, whereas
Yeah,
other people don't have time to really think about being bored. And I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
And not just time, but safety and comfort and all the hierarchy of needs are met. And so I really do believe that people will seek out adversity or like they'll you know like you need it in your life, otherwise life is boring and pointless. Like if you're not struggling in some way to do something, you like it'll go into your mind and then it's like you're like then you get mental health issues.
Yeah.
So
So like so I only know of, and this maybe this is my ignorance. I only know of two ethnicities that were prone to conquest: Asians and Caucasians, right? So your Genghis Khan, your well
didn't like
Japan before the World War, like they were going around conquering, right? In the Western world, maybe that's not true, my statement, because it's not really documented. Our history or human history is really documented on the Eastern Hemisphere and not in the New World, not your South America, America, etc. And I would argue probably not even Africa.
I think every culture, every major cultural ethnicity conquers each other. Like that's what they do.
But at what scale? So you have like the
Well,
Ottoman Empire, you have the Romans, you have the Mongols. Like those are large scale where they take like I would argue tens of thousands of miles.
yeah, but
That's not really documented in the West,
you're
right?
mistaking like like being successful at conquering for like there's like as saying like there's the culture that, but I mean even within Africa there were empires within there. Wasn't Zulu an empire that took over much of Africa?
I doubt it.
The Zulu Empire
When I say I doubt it, it's no, I don't. They're not going to go continental.
with it, but with maybe it just was
Like
most of like southern Africa that.
like Spain. I mean, they ravaged. They conquered damn near an entire continent, South America. Like,
Yeah, but the Aztecs and the Incans and the Mayans all conquered it beforehand. Like you
how
don't
you
think that
conquer
they.
something that you were homegrown in?
Well, yeah, but it's tribal. Like you have tribes, and tribes basically. This happened in Europe too,
They
right?
didn't live at the same time.
This is what happened with the Roman Empire. It was.
Aztecs and Mayans were two different time periods, right? They
I
weren't
thought they were
parallel.
different parts of it. I thought the Aztecs were more like Mexico, and the Mayans were
I
more
I I believe they were
more like
600 years apart.
Yucatan.
Well, regionally, I'm talking about time wise. I believe they're 600 years apart in regards to like their empires.
But they were empires.
They were empires, but who did they conquer?
Yeah, the
They
Mayans were Yucatan, the Aztecs were Mexico, and then the Incans were basically Chile up all the way up. But they conquered other tribes. It's like,
did they cross large bodies of ocean to conquer or for
well,
conquest?
no, now you're
And
just
that's what I'm
talking about,
saying.
yeah,
Japan
you're
did.
talking about the scale at which
Yeah.
that they've done it or succeeded at it. Um, but yeah, it's they if left on a long enough timeline, they would have. It's just as likely if the same technological advances had hit like um, any sort of you know Native American, Southern North
There were no
American.
technological. This goes back to bows and arrows that we had a huge debate about. Without Caucasian and Asian, or specifically European and Chinese, Japanese, there we wouldn't have the technology that we have today. And honestly, I don't think they would ever be conceived.
Well, long enough time they would have. So
So you remember the Jesus freak from like 5 years ago? He went to a island off of India to because he was dying to teach the indigenous people on that island about Jesus, and they killed him with like spears or bow and
yeah,
arrows or whatever. Um, think about that. So like that was 5 years ago, more or less, and those people are still walking around wearing the same thing that they were wearing 10,000 years ago. Like they
well, they're on an island with limited resources. I mean, it
okay.
eventually, you know, with the resources in the African and or North and South American continents, there's going to be technological advances. Um,
There's not. If you have, we just said this
maybe the
approximately.
problem is that there's not enough land to fight over. Or there's
No,
too
hear me
much
out.
land.
Hear me out. We just said approximately 25 minutes ago that the cradle of, in this case, entertainment is boredom, right? If these people are spending all their times trying to feed themselves and trying to figure out how they're going to get their next meal, then how much time do they really have to think in order
Oh, I didn't say it
to,
was.
right,
That's not that wasn't innovation. That was like the need for like
entertainment?
adversity. but like necessity breeds innovation. So it might just be that in there isn't enough land within the European regions and enough resources that they didn't have to fight over it. Whereas in North America or South America or Africa, there's just so much land that
Do do you sincerely believe that the some form of aviation would be inevitably created without white people?
yeah,
Explain.
I just think it would have. I mean, because I don't think people just like I don't think I don't believe that people of like Indian or African descent like don't try to innovate or
No, no,
don't
no,
try
no. That's the,
don't have reasons to
what I understand what you're saying, and I think that
yeah.
you're purposely, because we're connected on the internet and it's being recorded, you're being careful. I get that.
Well, no, I don't. I think that people advance just in the way it is. I mean, if you
They
want
need
to
an
take it right,
environment.
if w- if we all come from a common lineage, too.
Right, but my argument isn't about who's smarter and who's not. That's not my argument. My argument is what has been demonstrated, and what has been demonstrated, maybe we should bring in the factors that people have time on their hands to think and to test or experiment, and that's not something that is ubiquitous in all cultures of the human race, right? So your indigenous people of Australia, I can't remember the name. I can't remember the names of the indigenous people, Aborigines, right? The indigenous people of North and South America, like, and even the example I gave of that island off of India, if they don't have the time, if they don't have an environment economically, or socially to foster innovation, it's not going to happen. What does happen is when you have environments with Japan or China or areas in Europe where you have enough middle class, quote unquote, that have time to not necessarily always try to hunt or gather, then they can figure out how to automate some of their needs. But if you don't have a class of people, I would argue, that have time to actually figure out and think how they can improve their lifestyle, how is it going to happen? That's my argument.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's that happened with Asians and or white people in the last up until the last 100 years maybe, or even 60, 70, 80 years. It
The
like
Industrial Revolution, it was in the 1700s, right? That was, I believe, the catalyst for
well, before that there were there were lots of advances, but it was all like a lot of it
agriculture.
comes out of military, like that conquest. And like I said, it might just be that it's accelerated because of the amount of usable land available and resources available. Like why did the Britons and the French fight so much? I don't know. But I'm sure that a lot of the like and the Spanish and the Polish Empire and the Russians and like
It's a taboo subject, but I don't think humans are that far from dogs. Yeah, different breeds of dogs
yeah.
that have different temperaments, that are strong in certain areas. And then, I mean, it's an uncomfortable subject, but we could say that uh, people that are Scandinavian tend to be stronger than people in other parts of the world, and the data would suggest that, based on the people that tend to win the strongman contest. So even though it's a taboo subject of what human beings of different regions are genetically prone to, I mean, it's hard to refute, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
honestly don't think the airplane would have been conceived in in North America, South America, by
Yeah, I
any
mean
of the
there's
indigenous people if they don't have an environment to foster that type of
yeah. Well, I wonder
innovation.
how much like I don't know, like I wonder how much like warm versus cold climates come into it. And I wonder how much it's like seafaring or like having to live off the sea versus not. I'm like, I wonder how much like that plays into all of it. It's like the Vikings, like they had pretty limited resources where they were. They did a lot of conquering and pillaging to get what they had. But hmm,
Yeah,
it
I
is
think
kind
it
of weird.
was.
Like, why aren't there more Africans in strongman competitions? Like, why is it dominated by like these like Scandinavians?
Well, I can answer part of that. It's because in that area of the world, they tend to be taller than other parts of the world. So the people that are strongmen, like winners, the average height is likely to be like 6'3" and taller. 6'3"
Yeah,
is not the average size anywhere else in the world. And so when you have the larger your frame, the more muscle you could put on it. The more muscle you could put on that frame, the more capacity to lift larger loads.
yeah, but what you're see what I'm where I'm getting at is how tall are you?
I'm 6'7".
And I'm like 5'11", and I'm of Scandinavian descent, but you
Right,
are
but
definitely
I, I
not.
could I could almost without going down a different path. If I, I'm willing to bet I'm stronger than you
Oh yeah, no,
in
no,
the
I
upper
I
body.
know you are
Okay.
by a lot. I'm a weakling. So it's what I'm wondering is why aren't there more people like you that are doing strongman competitions?
Because believe it or not, there's not a large population of black people that are above 6'3".
Hmm.
There's not.
Yeah,
But
I guess I don't know why I think of maybe it's just like the NBA is skewed
yeah,
and like football has skewed the idea that most Africans are like just bigger and stronger in every way than most
well,
people of
cult,
European descent.
I'm willing to bet there's just as many tall white people as black people. I can't really say the same about Asians, but culturally, the black families tend to believe that success is playing professional sports, and that's pretty sad. So, whereas I think success culturally for Caucasians is to doctor, lawyer, entrepreneur, etc. Like they prioritize two different things.
There's a lot of white people who think their kids are going to be in baseball and or hockey stars or quarterbacks. Like that's pervasive too. It's
Yeah.
not just that, but I think maybe there's just a breadth of it.
Are they
Um,
from single parent homes?
yeah, well, that's a big issue. Like
Hey,
that's
gambler.
that's really probably the biggest part of it all. Although there are a lot of white people in single family homes, um, so it there's
Yeah.
there's a lot of there's a lot of problems with every single thing that people go through. So it's just maybe less recognizable. I
Well,
don't know.
unfortunately, I think 10 years from now, single parent homes are going to be there's going to be more single parent homes than dual parent homes. And I would argue in 5 years. I really do believe that.
Yeah. Well,
We are being
everyone's in
brainwashed and conditioned.
population. Everyone's in population decline. So
Yeah, I saw yesterday Hong Kong is paying or incentivizing financially families to have children.
yeah. Well, China's population collapse is massive in terms of they went too far, like over indexed on their one child policy and stuff, and now they're gonna have problems. Japan is in a bad spot too. I guess the US isn't too bad for
Yes, they
depopulation.
are.
It's bad, but it's not bad like it is in China and Japan.
So what happens when you go to war? Watch how I do this, and you're probably going to destroy what I'm going to say, but that's fine. All right. So you think about GDP, okay?
Hmm.
Think about again. Let's. removing feelings, think about what demographic of people produce and which ones consume, right? Now we're no longer talking about ethnicity, we're talking about genders, okay? Men typically produce, women typically consume. That is a true statement. They don't build malls for men, they build it for women. You go to a mall, it's dominated by women. Okay, so I won that argument. Now, where am I leading with this? Okay, there's a drop in the birth rate amongst countries, and it looks like we're on the. This is me butchering a word because I'm trying to sound fancy. Precipice? Am I saying that right?
Perfect.
Okay, I think you're just trying to. Okay,
No,
all
that
right.
is how you say it. It's precipice. Yeah.
All right, so I think we're on the
Yeah.
precipice of another great war. May not be a world war, but it looks like it's going to be more than 3 countries. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, so with that said, I'm still leading up to it. The more men die, and these men are the ones that are quote unquote producing more than they consume, in combination with a lower or dropping birth rate, then what does that mean for a state or a country's economy? Like, what are the factors? And maybe I'm having a hard time like articulating it, but when you remove men from when you remove enough men, what does that mean for a country?
Uh, I don't know. Maybe that's the fourth turning. I don't know.
I would argue it means a collapse. So
Well, it collapses, but then it comes back, right? You ever
if we
watch
look
those
at
videos
Russia,
about or read the books about the fourth turn, the four turnings that
no,
every like site we go through cyclically, and we're in the fourth turning right now, supposedly.
Gambler brought up a good point.
Yeah.
The U.S. sounds like they just opened up their borders, and so immigrants are filling in the void, and they reproduce like jackrabbits. So you see how like politically incorrect I am today. I'm just
I wonder if that's something like do people like do African Americans feel like they can be politically incorrect all the time? Like it's definitely something that I
no, I don't
am
have the same
cautious
pressure that you have.
like you know when and I think that people like I enjoy like jokes that are racy and stuff like that. They're funny, but I'm never gonna say them and it's like around people and stuff. There's so many people that get offended by things. I'm just
You gotta. I
like
watched this
I don't
movie
hate
2 nights
anyone,
ago.
but it's like
I watched this movie 2 nights ago called Old Dads. It's funny. It's
okay,
related to what we're
we're
talking
gonna
about on Netflix.
we're gonna watch that at some point, so I'll put that
It's hilarious,
I'll put
man.
that in the queue.
It pretty much is what we're talking about right now. Like how soft this generation is, feelings over facts, or prioritizing feelings over facts,
Well, so like the
entertaining delusion.
yeah, isn't that the like I said the turnings or whatever the what do they say like strong men make good times make soft men make hard times make strong men, and it's a cyclical thing.
Yeah, something like
So
that.
we're in soft times right now, which means we'll make hard times, and then hard times will come, and then that will make strong people, and then it'll just keep going and going and going in cycles. But I don't know. They did do some bombing against Iranian proxies, I guess, yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
Yeah.
I woke up at like 2 in the morning, man.
Gosh, remember
I
when we
couldn't really
had
go back to
Trump and
sleep.
world peace? That was great. Can
Dot
I
dot
not
dot.
say that? Boy, it was nice not having to worry about that all the time.
Things are getting weird.
Yeah.
The United Nations is a joke.
Yeah, it has been.
It's a joke.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't even imagine what a large scale war would look like now because of the technological advances in warfare plus the like I don't think that if there ever did become a war like that, it would just be a big, massive, like, world-ending thing.
Ukraine and Russia isn't a sample of what it would look like.
But that's a small player versus a big player. Like, we did
It,
the
you,
same thing with Iraq. I can see that,
it's two
right?
developed countries in which a smaller country, which is still developed, they have arguably an equal amount of aid, if not more, pouring in from like 30 other countries.
Yeah. But I'm talking about t two world powers going at it, where it would be a
They are going at it. It's
through a
Ukraine.
proxy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's different. I'm talking about head to head going at it, not a proxy war. Like,
as
you
in
could
like more like two different territories or multiple territories, and not just one state
what would a declared
facilitating the
war
war.
between Russia and the United States look like? Or Russia and China and the United States look
New
like?
York, DC, Miami, uh, basically every major city on the East Coast gets bombed. Every major city on the West Coast gets bombed in both
Yeah.
countries.
Yeah, so it that's what happens, but I can't imagine that world. Like, it's like, it's nuts, you know.
Well, it's going to happen within our lifetime.
Yeah, we'll see. I think there's enough communication amongst people of the world now that it like I don't know that if you talk to any particular, like, group of people, like, nobody wants to, like, sit here and fight against Russian people, like, or
It's not our choice.
whatever. I know it's like it's the government's, like, posturing and trying to play political games with each other. I don't know why those
It's some elderly
powers
white
try to play
people
it.
that decide what's going to happen to the rest of the world and their
Yeah,
children,
yeah. So
and that's unfortunate. I really wish there was an age limit against Congress.
yeah. Well,
You should
but
have children if you're going to be a politician.
no, so it's like age isn't like, because there are some very, very sharp old people, like,
They be
who are
sharp all they want. They're replaceable.
and there's some really, really dumb young people too.
The issue with the nursing home that we call Congress is that the policies that they're making, I don't think they take into strong consideration our children that are going to have to deal with the consequences
No, they
of those
don't. Yeah,
policies.
and then they get demonized if they do. I mean, there are definitely a certain caucus of Republicans for sure that care about the national debt and all of that, and are willing to try to fight against increasing the debt. uh, that they are made fun of and mocked and put down, and they're not liked, because the thing is that they'll, like, you can't, the government keeps giving, and as soon as you start talking taking it away, people get, like, defensive, and they're like, we're gonna vote you out. It's just the way it is. You want to have a good joyride, though. Watch around Christmas time when Rand Paul releases his list of grievances for Festivus.
What's Festivus?
So Festivus is like a fictional holiday in made in Seinfeld, the show
Okay.
Seinfeld. It's Festivus for the rest of us, and uh, and then there's the airing of grievances as part of Festivus. And you'd have to watch the actual show to understand the context, but the airing of grievances. So Rand Paul took this. He's the senator from Kentucky, and he took this and he does the airing of grievances everywhere. We releases a report about government waste and all the things that we spent our money on that were stupid. Like, you wouldn't believe, like, all of the crap that you put on there. So it's pretty comical, but it's also sad. But I don't know, man. I just want to sit back and make a good open source project, but I don't know what to do. Or
I
any
can't believe
project. I
you're
want to have
so
some sort
interested
of
in
idea.
writing code. That's so like
I
2020.
I do. I just don't want it to be, like, useless. I don't know. Writing code's fun. It's the like I get just hammered by, like, modern software development practices and working in teams and stuff like that. It's just it's draining. Even like starting a new job is draining. Like I don't know. I don't know how we do it. I don't want to. It's like coding itself is fun if I'm working on like a hard problem, but trying to read pixels out of the database and regurgitate into a screen and like being concerned about all I don't know. It's just I don't want to do this for another 20 years. I don't know how to get out of it though. I'd like to write code, just not in like a business context.
Someone told me, Scott, you're at your peak of earning income. You're going to earn the most money right now at your age, and you only have maybe a 6 to 10 year window, and then you got to think about how you're going to survive when you can't work. And like, man, that has me paranoid. Definitely
I think
can't
it's
get
true
married.
though. People
Definitely can't get married.
unless you find someone with more money, you gotta go down that avenue. Find a gal with more money, then you'll get 50%.
Well, then you have to hire an accountant to make sure that that money is tied to them and not to external entities,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
maybe.
that money's not wrapped up in their business, and that you can
What do
sue
you mean?
them.
You get there and then you own
Yeah.
50% of their businesses?
No, you can't touch their businesses because their business is a separate entity, right?
Yeah, it
It's not
depends on
them.
how they but there's ownership of it though, so
But they have money.
it's like if
If
you
they're smart, they have accountants to make sure that that money
yeah,
can't get touched.
and lawyers to mostly lawyers, but yeah. Um,
First world problems, man.
I bought ChatGPT Plus to play around with it.
What is the difference?
So far, I haven't noticed that it's the one difference that it is it'll do stuff with images. I know that that's definitely a thing.
It'll create
Like
an image for you, or it'll like what?
Dolly 3, which comes with it, will create images for you. Like I asked it to create a like I have this thing if I ever get a tattoo, it'll be of a double A battery. And because my kids' names both start with A. So it's like two kids, A, double A battery. Like it's kind of corny, but it makes sense. Like thematically, it's like a battery, like gives power. Yeah. Anyways,
Okay.
um, gives energy or whatever. And so I asked it to create like a couple tattoos based on description. It was pretty neat
And
what
you did
what it
that
came up with.
through ChatGPT's website, or you had to use like
Here,
uh
I could just show you quick.
okay.
I'll just share screen. 1 second. I was asking it all sorts of questions too about how Kafka is implemented because I've got in my head that I want to make like something. I want to write a system like Kafka that's not written in Java.
In theory, you should in theory we should be able to ask ChatGPT to 3D print something.
Let's see here. I want to share this
3D
tab.
print a watch.
Let's see if here's the tattoos that it came up with. This one was pretty neat.
You're not sharing your screen.
I am. You'll have to.
Oh shoot. I maximized my screen. I didn't see it.
So that was I gave it a prompt. Oh, I gave my kids names though. I don't want to share that, but that's
Don't don't put that on you.
yeah. Well, they could look it up. People could look it up, but this is kind of stupid because you can see it's got two knobs on it, which is got instead of a button and a flat spot. But it's pretty neat. And then I asked it for more mechanical. Um, and this is kind of cool what I came up with. This is actually really cool looking, but this isn't as much of a battery. Although you could maybe
How
take it.
much
There's
is
no
it?
two ways, huh?
How much is
twenty
it a
bucks a
month?
month.
You should ask ChatGPT to design you a teardrop that you can tattoo on your face.
But like, here, let me try something once. So like you can drop in images using like this attach image thing here, and then you can ask it questions about the image. And then GPT-4 is supposed to be like just better at doing everything than it's slower than 3.5, but it's like I don't know. It's supposed to be more adept at doing certain things. But the image thing is kind of cool. I guess people like have taken images of like whiteboard code and been like, make this into code, like like a write me the like
So
base classes for all of this.
so can you type this?
Sure.
Create an image of Tupac's last moments.
We'll see if it allows. Sometimes create an image of
TUPAC.
PAC.
No, TU.
Oh, two. Oh, damn it. Did I put an
Or
extra?
moment maybe. I don't know. Who cares? I'm curious if it could process that.
You can't create individuals of specific. There's a lot of like rules like that in it. There's also a limit of like how many. Um, so if you look at it, it's like it's limited to 50 messages every 30 hours. So it's kind of a little bit. I think you do get
All right,
priority on.
that's good. Okay. Disclaimer: I'm only interested in seeing if ChatGPT is aware of policies. All right, Sean, I need you to type in draw a picture of Muhammad, Prophet
He
Muhammad.
said he wouldn't profit.
You're on the hook. They're gonna come after you, Sean, not me.
Oh yeah, I guess that is kind of. Well, it's not me doing the drawing though. It's
You're requesting it.
yeah. See, you can't create it. Yeah, there it
Okay,
is.
so I thought about that.
Yeah, we'll delete that one. That one, I guess it's pointless. But yeah, I was like asking it questions about how Kafka does its like indices and stuff. It's not super great about some of that stuff, but um, oh, what did I have it do down here? I did some like mock-ups of random things. There was one where I asked it to make like a wizard. Uh,
Did it get better at rapping?
oh, like that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know. I could try to ask it to rap. I try to have it come up with a joke for me because I really want to have a punchline to a joke be Sharon as Karen, where it's like a play on sharing as caring, but I couldn't come up with a good like lead up to it. But yeah, this was not great. Um, so, but I could try. Like, what do you want me to have it do? Rap? You said.
Rap about Israel.
I don't want to go down that road. Let's keep
Rap,
it lighthearted.
rap about Switzerland. Azure certifications.
Oh gosh, if I can spell Switzerland correctly. Swiss edition.
Yeah, I'm flying high like the Swiss Alps. Azure certifications on my belt, no doubt. Climbing the IT ladder, reaching for the peak. With every badge I earn, my tech game is. Yo, he got
I
flow.
actually got one, yeah. Demand and
From
stand,
Zurich to
fine and shine.
Geneva, cloud skills in demand. Azure's the foundation on which we stand. Switzerland's precision, like a watch so fine. With Azure's cloud tech, watch our servers shine. Of course, Azure Blue, Swiss skies so clear. Certified, no fear. I'm the
I'm an
engineer.
engineer. That's
Yo, this thing got flow, man.
yeah, yeah. It's not bad.
Does it do gangster raps?
I mean, it probably.
That's a rap about pulling drive-bys.
No, I probably won't do that. I should put it. Yeah, I see.
Okay.
But it is fun to write raps about stupid things.
Well, I hope you get your money worth.
Yeah, I'm just waiting
How
for
many
more.
queries can you put in it?
It says you can do so I think you get priority on GPT 3.5, but it says it's limited to 50 here.
50 a day? 50 an hour?
Um 50 for 3 hours.
Okay.
But one thing I wanted to try to do is make like a diagram and see if it could actually like generate code based on the diagram. I wonder if I did put something together really quick like and then I do some sort of like
Oh, shoot. Hold up. Can it create flyers?
maybe.
Ask it to create a flyer for chair and umbrella rentals for the beach. This is going to either be a major disappointment or a pleasant surprise. Does it usually take this long to create something?
Yeah, Dolly is a little slower than GPT is. So it's kind of cool that it's in here, but yeah, it does take a little bit for it to actually process the request. I do want to try this thing where so like oh here we go.
Oh, wow. That might be worth it, man, to do flyer design.
Yeah, well generating like the art and stuff it definitely is great with these kinds
Dude,
of things.
that is that would be
So,
worth it. Because
well, and you
right now I pay like $60 a flyer or to have a flyer design on Fiverr.
yeah, you could look at Midjourney too. Midjourney is also pretty adept at generating those. Although this is I think a little better than what I've saw out of Midjourney when I was tinkering with it. So like I said, you can also like you should be able to do okay, take
Dude,
something like
I
this.
think I'm about to be a graphic designer on Fiverr. Yeah, I'm just going to start having this automated.
So I just send it like a really dumb diagram of here's a yeah. So that's pretty neat, huh? I mean, this is a so simple like example, but if you had a complicated like diagram and you wanted it to write out like a basic structure for you based on it, that's pretty good. you know, I don't know.
That's that's pretty good. I think it's worth $20 just for the images.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said though, you could check out Midjourney. I'm not sure what the
Yeah, but
cost is, but
Midjourney, I don't know how to use that. It requires you to
oh,
download.
Discord. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I don't know
thought
how to
they
use
had an
Discord.
option that had without Discord, but maybe not. I mean, it's just Discord's just like Slack, so it's I don't
It's
know.
not. I could communicate on Slack. Discord, it's like it's just to me it's weird. Maybe because I haven't lost myself in the bedroom for like 2 hours to figure out how to use it. It's just not intuitive to me.
Yeah, I don't know. They were kind of weird on how they structured it as a Discord plugin rather than a standalone like product. It was odd. But yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's I'm trying it out anyways. I'm gonna see it. I found that, and I think we maybe talked about this before. I found that GPT, the best thing it's been used for me is naming problems, solving naming problems in coding. Like asking about how do I like I'm trying to name this thing that I'm making. Like help me name it kind of a deal.
Flux capacitor.
Yeah.
No, like so if I were video games, Like, why couldn't I have that create the assets for me?
Yeah, you could at least like that's why that wizard one that I had. It's I don't know that it's gonna be good enough to create like the actual like the full set of assets that you would need, but for like giving you inspiration and a baseline to work with, I think it could do that. Because that like I looked at that one that I showed you of those wizards. That was pretty neat. And I
Yeah.
could easily just take one of those wizards and like extract him out and then like you know then go from there and just modify him to make him useful for a game. So I don't know. And or even if it's just for like cover art and things like that, like you can do a lot with that kind of stuff. So,
You think
but
this
yeah,
is
I don't know.
going to you think this is going to be a game changer for art exhibits?
No, no, I think that those will be limited to real art
I mean,
rather
to
than
me,
generated art.
how can you tell the difference?
It, I don't know. You can kind of tell. I don't know with this pixel art stuff. Like I wouldn't know that this was generated by AI. For other images though, high res, you can definitely usually tell if they're created by AI. It's just something about the way
A machine
that
versus a
they come
human?
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like there's always like this skew on it that just looks a certain way. But yeah, these here I'll show you these wizard ones that I had them draw up. These are, I mean, I wouldn't know that these weren't created by a person. 1 second. Share screen. This one. Like I could easily pull like the pixel art out of these. I shared my screen again. Like just
Yeah.
extract this part of the image and then go and like say, okay, this is what I'm going to use as my base. Now I'll go manipulate it and whatever. And it's kind of cool because you could also like pass in something like this, have it write a description of it, and then have it like try to make a new version based on that description that it pulled out of it. So if you have like a basic idea, you could, yeah, I don't know. There's some pretty neat stuff you can do with it, but I don't know. I'm still scratching the surface of it. So, but yeah, the art image generation is pretty cool.
Yeah, I wish. Mm, yeah, it looks promising. All right, well, I think I should probably start
Like
working.
this is not pixel art, but there's crap it had and asked it to make like a calculator based fancy console. Like I thought this was pretty cool looking.
It looks real.
Yeah, well, this one does. Yeah, this one is a more photorealistic version of it. Um, this one obviously is more of a mock-up type thing. I don't know what OP Go, OP, and AP are supposed to be, but at least it got numbers through 1, 2, 3, 3, 5, 4, 5, 6, 6, 0. Yeah, there's some problems with it, but it's just you get inspiration from it anyways. I really liked the image that it built on here though. This is kind of neat.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool stuff. I'll let you know how it turns out. Um, I don't know. The API, if you want to use the API, it's priced differently. It's not like a fixed monthly cost like ChatGPT is. So I've been thinking about more and more that I should try to build some sort of AI driven tool just for fun. But yeah. All right. I suppose it's about that time. In a minute, I'm gonna need a cinnamon.
All right, it was good hanging out. Thanks. See you.
Yep. All right. See you. Bye.
All right, bye. See you again, Laura.